all across India for speaking about self-determination. The Indians have issued threats, labeled peaceful democratic advocates as terrorists. And last week, the Indians assassinated Hardeep Singh Nijjar, the chief advocate for a democratic referendum on the question of Punjab, on the question of Khalistan. Why is this happening? Why is the idea of peacefully resolving the question of Punjab terrorizing India? Because since 1984, the Indians have painted the Sikhs as terrorists. They have labeled us as troublemakers and told Western countries not to stand with us. Since 2015, we have said we want to do a peaceful referendum to resolve the question of Punjab democratically, as Quebec has tried to do. If a democracy respects the voice of the people, if a democracy governs through the consent of the people, then a referendum on the question of Punjab would be the ideal way for democracy to resolve this issue. But India is not a democracy. And as such, India has labeled anybody who speaks of a referendum as a terrorist. Bhai Hardeep Singh Nijjar, Shaheed Bhai Hardeep Singh Nijjar, was the president of a Gurdwara. In his last speech, he stated, "We will be peaceful. We will vote. We want no violence, but we will never stop demanding our independence." And for that, this Indian government, the consulate that represents this Indian government, targeted him. This cannot be tolerated. We will not accept this. And we ask the Canadian government, the Canadian intelligence agencies, and all right-minded people to stand up against an act of violence on Canadian territory and perpetrated by the Indian government. This government, this country, has not been a voice of peace. Today they support Russia in its war against Ukraine. It stands against Western values and engages in acts of violence on Canadian territory. Shaheed Bhai Hardeep Singh Nijjar, only crime in India's eyes was that he was advocating for a peaceful solution to Khalistan, that he demanded a referendum. The Indians want Sikhs to engage in violence. The Indians want Sikhs to defend themselves. Bhai Hardeep Singh Nijjar said that we should be peaceful, law-abiding, and follow democratic means. And that terrified this government. Bhai Hardeep Singh Nijjar's goal to create Khalistan will not be stopped.
Khalistan! Jindabad! Khalistan! Jindabad! Back in Hungary! Khalistan!
We again want to ask all right-minded people, how can the Sikh people stay with this country when they target peaceful advocates in foreign countries solely because they want independence? How can we trust them to keep our brothers and sisters safe if they have a dissenting political opinion? How can we trust them to govern? The Sikhs are not equal in India. If we demand our rights, if we expose their murders, if we expose their genocide, if we understand the law and try to implement it, we are targeted. Hardeep Singh Nijjar's voice will ring out. through the ages. They think by assassinating him, they have stopped this movement. They have further galvanized us. And they have shown us that we are not safe, even in Canada. That until Punjab becomes an independent country, like our brothers and sisters in Punjab, we are in danger. We must have our own state, our own armies, our own police force, so that we may protect our people. We implore the Canadian government and all right-minded citizens to expose the role India played in the assassination, in the terrorization, the act of violence in Canada. Hardeep Singh Nijjar's only crime was that he demanded independence, and he demanded it peacefully through a referendum, an act that India will not tolerate. India called him a terrorist. India put fake cases against him, accused him of acts of violence, and when the Canadian authorities asked for the evidence, they presented nothing. By Canadian standards, the Indians presented nothing to justify any of the labels and accusations, and hence the Canadians did not commence any action against Bhai Hardeep Singh Nijjar. They did not try to extradite him.